Welcome to Popcorn Planet. We are live and we got lots to talk about. But first up, we're starting with our main story. This morning, we reported on this alleged affair, which typically, that's none of my business. Whatever. It's between the family. It's between the husband, the wife, or whoever this is going between. I hate when we expose this stuff publicly for clout. People always forget about the family, Kim, and how that affects. And so, yes, there was a messy story that did get worse. A influencer by the name of Sumner Stroh took to TikTok to basically say, and in fact, I'll play it one more time. Here it is for those of you who missed the video, so we're all on the same page. This was the initial allegation.
I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off because I've retaken this like 10 times now. Essentially, I was having an affair with a man who's married to a Victoria's Secret model. At the time, you know, I was young, I was naive, and I mean, quite frankly, I feel exploited. I wasn't in the scene like I am now, so I was definitely very easily manipulated. Maroon 5 is practically elevator music at this point, so I'm sure you know who Adam Levine is. But Adam and I were seeing each other for about a year. After I stopped talking to him over, you know, a period of months, this is how he came back into my life. He said, okay, serious question. I'm having another baby, and if it's a boy, I really want to name it Sumner. You okay with that? Dead serious. I was like, I'm in hell. Like, I have to be in hell at this point. I mean, my morals were unknowingly compromised. I was completely manipulated. I wanted to handle this privately. I never wanted to come forward because obviously I know the implications that come with doing what I do, making money the way I do, and being an Instagram model. So being tied to a story like this, it's like, I know the stereotypes. I had sent some screenshots recklessly to a few friends I thought I trusted, and one of them had attempted to sell to a tabloid. So here I am.
Oh, you're so brave.
Like,
so brave. She knows the stereotypes. She knew that was what she's most afraid of, Kim. Not, you know, Bahati, his kids, the family, and what this will do once this got out. And not even a tabloid published it. Like, that's my biggest problem with why I don't believe. Look, here's what I'll say, guys. Do I believe Adam Levine maybe, you know, had an affair, got flirty with some fans? Yes, I do. It happens all the time. I was guilty of doing that. It happens. It sucks. It's not right. And I'm not giving him any pass. But my God, she did it too. She's an adult. This was a consensual affair. She had it. She doesn't get to play the victim here and go, woe is me. Oh, it's so hard that he manipulated me. Come, I'm so over this. I'm so over that. And we see the limited chats you showed us because you didn't show us all the chats, girl. I don't know. It seems like you're hiding something. And then, you know, you're talking about how hot he is. Okay. You couldn't, you know, control yourself. You were so up by his looks more than anything else that you chose to go be with a married man, and you knew he was married. So look, I'm not giving Adam the pass, guys. I don't know what's true, and we're going to show you what Adam has said. However, I just don't like that this girl thought she was going to come out and like be the hero here of like, yeah, you know, that band guys, you know, you've heard of them. Like, you know, I had an affair with a man whose wife was a Victoria's Secret model. She like threw it out so flippantly, Kim. You know what I mean? It just felt like there was a lot of like extra that she was just putting out there. Like, it's no biggie, but you know, this is what I do. Like, none of it felt like a sincere, you know, person who clearly has remorse for sleeping with a husband who had kids. This year, this wasn't like it was like 3 years ago. This was this year. Before we get to Adam's response, now he has responded. I want to get your thoughts on it, Kim, because we've reported on, you saw it. What do you think? Do you think this girl is telling the truth? Should we believe her?
I honestly don't know. I mean, I very much am of the opinion that if there's an affair, it's both people's fault that are involved in it, unless there has been some type of like a conspiracy by one party to convince the other party that they are not currently in a relationship, which we saw absolutely no evidence of. I don't know how to feel about it, to be honest. And I mean, the continuing dialogue to me is what has made this more interesting. So I definitely have thoughts when we get to that stuff, but it's hard. I feel like there's something that doesn't smell right about this. And I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of it in the coming days.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a complicated story because I don't like to meddle in people's business. Mm-hmm. It's like I've been accused of affairs recently with some idiots who are just completely lying. It happens. And so I hate to even encourage this narrative because it's none of our business, guys. My life was destroyed because I had affairs. I cheated on my wife. I've owned it. And I'm taking accountability for it. At the same time, it was none of your damn business. It was between my family and I. And anybody who felt the need to come out and expose me for doing that, I just still have a real umbrage with them because they have no idea how that affected my family. There's exposing the truth and everything. If someone was like really using you, right, and like Kim said, lying about the marriage and tricking you to like get into it, and you were unbeknownst to you, the person was even married. Well, then yes, okay, noted. That's maybe worth getting this person the truth. But if you're having an affair and and the person's telling you, you're both guilty. You're both guilty. And so it's just weird when someone wants to come out for clout on social media to try to take credit for like, yeah, I had an affair with this celebrity and they have kids. Isn't it sad? Follow me on Instagram. Like, and that's what it feels like she's doing. And it's sickening because it's like, did she delete it? Yeah. Here, after literally destroying this man's potential life and family by exposing it, which is what, granted, they both were involved and it is what it is. Literally, the thing she posts after that empathetic reveal is Costa Rica content has me so hot. Look at me in my bikini in the selfie mirror. This is what her brain was thinking as she literally posts a TikTok accusing Adam Levine of cheating on his family. Here I am in my bikini. Like, I'm sorry. I have trouble. If you're going to go out there and do this, then be serious about it and don't start promoting your, bikini shots right in between these serious allegations that you're putting out there. So anyway, she did that. And then a friend, I guess she retweeted a friend who said, she's telling the truth. She's telling the truth. No matter what you think, I can say she's always been a good person. No, this doesn't confirm anything. And then Adam finally, she did a follow-up video, which you can play it, but you can watch another video. It didn't help matters for me at all. She tried to play like, I didn't mean to sound like the victim, but here are all the reasons I'm a victim is what you said. And then at the end was like, oh, and I'm so sorry for Bahati, but not really genuine. Like, don't even say her name, girl. You don't have the right to say her name after if you did this. Either way, you guys aren't friends. So like, I don't believe you feel sorry. You wouldn't have done it if you felt sorry. But so she did this, and now Adam has finally addressed it. That's why I wanted to bring the story up again, because Adam has now said, a lot is being said about me right now, and I want to clear the air. I used poor judgment in speaking with anyone other than my wife in any kind of flirtatious manner. I did not have an affair. Nevertheless, I crossed the line during a regrettable period in my life. In certain instances, it became inappropriate. I have addressed that and taken proactive steps to remedy this with my family. My wife and my family is all I care about in this world. To be this naive and stupid enough to risk the only thing that truly matters to me was the greatest mistake I could ever make. I will never make it again. I take full responsibility. We will get through it, and we will get through it together. All right. My take on this, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Sorry, Kim, I'm going to keep it real. As someone who's been here, who's been flirtatious and done it, I don't believe you. I'm sorry, Adam. I don't. This is damage control. This is saving your brand. And what I'm frustrated by is it's really none of my business, Adam. Like, if you want to go flirt with your fans, go flirt with your fans. Like, again, don't give her the leverage to say she's telling the truth if you want to save your brand and fight. If Bahati knows this or found out now and doesn't care, it affects me Kim. It doesn't matter then, right? It literally doesn't matter. And that's the problem. I don't know what their relationship is. Maybe they got an open relationship. Maybe she assumes he's cheating. Maybe she assumes he's flirting. Stop assuming people's relationships and love lives. It's none of our damn business. And so what's frustrating is like, he's trying to play both sides where he's like sort of trying to say like, well, I didn't have an affair, but you kind of look like you did. You had a flirtatious digital affair. Like, if we're going to argue semantics of the term, what are you, Bill Clinton? I did not have sexual relations with the women. Like, this just feels very like you're not owning up to it. Either fight back and own up and be like, I don't owe this broad anything. And how dare she come after my family like this? It sounds like she does want clout. I don't know. She could have spoken to me if she had an issue. Whatever. Like, aggressively fight back and say no, or just ignore it. Or, say, it's really no one. Or how about this? It's no one's business. It's no one's business. I don't remember doing anything illegal. And I'd like to keep my family out of this. It's no one's business. And I'm not going to engage in this slander. There's ways, Kim, that he could have done it. I think would have been more aggressive and just been the rock star guy who's flirting around. It is what it is. To me, it sounds like he's sort of trying to save face, but then protect the brand. And, well, I may have flirted. I'm so sorry I flirted. Like, Adam Levine's going to stop flirting with fans. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. It doesn't seem genuine to me. He's now admitting, in my eye, right? Don't you think he's admitting that the conversation happened in this exchange? And it's like, well, now it's like she's telling the truth.
Well, okay, here's my thing, right? So if I look at this statement, I see I crossed a line during a regrettable period in my life. In certain instances, it became inappropriate. This was an ongoing thing. He's admitting that he did it and it was inappropriate. So to me, here's the thing. To me, affair is a word that is defined by the relationship, by the committed relationship. So, you have different terms with your partner or whatever of what you feel is too far, what you feel is crossing a line. And those things are none of anybody else's business. 100%. But from the way that this is written, this makes me think that he did cross a line. Because if he didn't cross a line in his marriage, he wouldn't have said anything. So you're going to say you didn't have an affair, but you're also going to admit that you betrayed your wife.
Right, which is
you can't do that. You can't do that. That's garbage. If that was my husband saying that to me, I'd be like, no, you're admitting right there that you were not faithful to me. Right there. You can pick a word apart and go because, maybe you guys didn't physically do something. But again, we don't know that. We don't know. But it's still ridiculous. You still opened yourself up to that. You still put the marriage at risk. So they're both equally to blame. I'm not blaming her any more than I'm blaming him. Both. And
here's exactly what I was going to get at. They're both guilty here. And that's why it's annoying because she blew all this up for what? For some clout that now it's like, I don't know what Bahati and is going to think or if she's leaving. And like I said in my video, if he really did attempt to use the name Sumner as a choice, I'm going to guess that relationship's not in a good place right now, Kim. That's just my assumption, my opinion, my conspiracy or whatever. Because only Bahati's going to know if that actually happened. Did he pitch that name for their upcoming child? Or did they select it? And now it's like, whoa, that girl on Instagram's where we got that name? That's a whole nother level of sick and like twisted, right? But if that's not the case and he's flirting, I mean, I saw someone say in the comments, and it's true. He's a rock star. Flirting is part of the job. Like it is. There's an extent of that where it's like, yeah, all he did was like, you're hot. I know. Thanks. I'm hot. And he's doing that from time to time. There's going to be some people like, who cares? Right. It's like what I care about and what matters is, did Bahati know? Is she betrayed? That's what matters. And she may not care if he's just doing some innocent flirting in social media, in which case this is a non-story. And this girl is, to me, in my opinion, messed up for exposing it and putting a big spotlight on all their backs. It's a complicated thing. And that's why affairs are always frustrating me, because it takes two to tango. They're both wrong. And now it's just like, what? And we're seeing this, to me, this is damage control of people are laughing in the comments. Adam Levine still has a brand. Yes, guys, he does. He's a very famous singer. They just did the Super Bowl recently. He's been on The Voice. I'm sure he would have been back on The Voice. I don't know if this is going to like cancel him. Is anyone surprised that Adam Levine was flirting with some hot Instagram influencer? Like, is this news, Kim? I just don't.
It's weird, though, that it's like, the most important thing in my life is my family, which is why when I look at my newborn child and say their name, I want to be reminded of my mistress.
Well, I think that's why we're reporting.
Sorry.
That's where the story took turn. But I still I don't know if that's true. Like, I wish, I don't know. That's where it gets weird. You're right. That's honestly, if it was just been like Adam Levine flirted with some Instagram model, I don't think anybody would have picked up the story nor cared. But the fact that they're trying to imply that he was naming his third child after her, that's a bad look, Adam. That's not a good look for a voice coach. I was talking to my Jami, and she's like, "Oh God, I hope they don't cancel Paw Patrol because he does a song on like the movie." I'm like, I don't think it'll go that far, but who knows these days? She's like, I don't know. The world is so sensitive. Everybody's flipping out of the dumbest things. I don't know how this is going to affect him. I don't know what the truth is. All I know is I don't believe I didn't, and I don't fully believe her. I think she is lying and that she's doing this for clout. Could they have been engaging in some sort of affair that was flirtatious? Yes, he's now acknowledged that. Did they actually meet up? I have no proof of that yet. She has not proved any receipts that they met up, nor has she brought receipts. And I'm wondering if she will, if she keeps getting enough heat, which she's starting to get, will she start dropping more receipts to show Adam saying, we're not married. And then it's like, is that really wise to release? Like if you're Sumner right now and everyone's saying, we don't believe you, you're a scum. And then she's like, well, he told me he wasn't married. He said this, da, 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 da. Do you put it out there now at this point and risk rocking the boat on his whole family and situation even further?
I don't know, because I feel like if it was me, my first goal would be to get to his wife and speak to her woman to woman and be like, no, this happened and I didn't know. And I want you to know. And here are the receipts of him telling me that he wasn't with you, because I wouldn't have done that to you if I had known, type thing. Because I think that's the respectable thing to do. Now, if you can't get to them, which I understand sometimes with, it's not like she's in the phone book and she could just call her up. You know what I mean? Then I would have probably put that with what I posted originally, just to be like, I know what you guys are going to think, but here's my receipts to prove I didn't know, or I was told something different. That to me is the more important piece of this, which is part of why I think some people may feel like it's a little sus.
And someone did point out, just so we're clear, they did apparently meet because, thank you, you're right. You're even hotter in person is what it was.
And
it's
so
really
am
real
I.
hot.
Ha, ha, ha.
I know. My God. Like cringe. The most cringe. Adam Levine's cringe exposed. The things, seeing you in person, I was like, I'm effed. You are 50 times hotter in person, and so am I. Ha 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 ha. So I'm sorry. But that again, okay, so they did meet in person, but this doesn't mean they did the deed, is what I'm trying to get at. You know what I mean? They could have been at a concert, at a meet and greet. There's a million ways to meet a fan, and it doesn't mean you actually slept with them, is what I'm saying, guys. Oh, sorry, you guys can't see it. There it is. That's what I meant by that. I don't have see proof that they actually did it. And so it's cringe. Since we're talking about it, let's go all the way. Here's her follow up, because
I just wanted to make
when I watched this one, I got to be honest, I was way less interested in supporting her, because here was her response to like clear the air on the fact that it's no secret he's been married. The only victim here is his wife and children. Because I just didn't get that vibe from her at all, that she had any remorse. So she did a follow up to try to justify. Here it was.
I just wanted to make a part 2. I feel like it's obviously necessary. Hindsight is 2020. I initially wanted to go in and talk about how remorseful I feel and how
we need Linda to be a body. Are you watching, Linda? Hit me up, because all this eye darting does not make me seem like she's, it's like, that's not a good thing to constantly be looking away as you're talking.
Embarrassed and disgusted I am with myself, but I didn't want people to look at it and think like, oh, she's playing the victim. But in reality, it had the opposite effect. Something I now realize I didn't touch on enough was the fact that one of my friends had attempted to sell it, which I realized yesterday whenever they reached out to me for comment. And so I was completely frantic. That is why that video is, for one, just so all over the place.
Because I was like, I need to get my clout on TikTok before the tabloid beats me to it. It's hard to not hear that. So what? A tabloid reached out for comment. That doesn't mean it's going to get publicized. It doesn't mean you have to endorse it and say it's true. You could say it's false. And this all would have gone away, and you wouldn't gotten the association that you're now getting. I don't understand. Do you know what I mean, Kim? Why does suddenly a tabloid reporter reaching out? It's a freaking tabloid. Does that warrant, like, I need to put this out on my terms? Do you feel like that?
I think my thing would be, if it's going to come out, it's going to come out. And I would probably reach out to Adam. First. And be like, yo, this is happening. You either need to tell your wife or I need to tell your wife. And if you don't, handle this, then I will have to take matters into my own hands and I will have to defend myself. Because if her story is true and she was told that they weren't together, it's like, okay, so you lied to me, you tricked me into this affair. Now my name's going to get dragged through the mud. So you need to handle this or I'm going to handle this. These are your options. I think that's how I would have done it. But I mean, I've never been there. I don't know what it's like. It's easy for me to be like, judging that, right? But I don't know how that all
No,
works.
but I think you're spot on. She should have messaged him.
Mhm.
She should have messaged him if she didn't want to get involved and she wasn't out for clout and she wasn't trying to expose him, which she's trying to say she wasn't, but then she was manipulated. So she is trying to expose it. Which is it, girl? Pick one. If that was the case, she should have reached out to Adam and said, look, to be honest, I at near the end, I felt a little uncomfortable and I shouldn't have, but I shared a friend screenshot and they now have taken it to a tabloid. They just called me. I wanted to warn you. You might want to fill in your family, because I don't know what they're going to publish, but I'm not going to make any comments. I don't want to get involved. Unless I need to defend myself from you or somebody else, I'm intending to stick out of this. To me, would have been the appropriate, non-cloudy way to do it. But instead, she's out here doing 2 TikToks.
Into why I didn't touch on some of the things that I initially would have liked. So in this video, I would like to address some of those things. I only came forward because I wanted to kill whatever story the tabloid had. The most important part that I did definitely gloss over is the fact that I was under the impression that their marriage was over. I believe that they were keeping it.
I was under the impression by him or by your own assumptions. Like, very unclear. That would have been a good thing to point out in a screenshot or receipt to really, own your case, girl.
Quiet to avoid the negative press because, as I had said, I was new to LA. So I just assumed that with celebrities of that caliber, that's just how it was. And that's why I feel exploited, because he knew I believed everything that he said. Because of my...
That's how he knew, because he knew I would believe everything he said. There's so much projection and assumption on her part to justify what she's calling manipulation that I don't follow this.
Vulnerable position of being new to LA. Also, he was DMing me straight from his verified Instagram account. I didn't have any reason to further question it. But I now realize that was likely a manipulation tactic of his, just hiding in plain sight.
What? Hiding in plain sight was a manipulation tactic. Him just messaging her directly was a manipulation tactic. Sorry, this makes no sense. A lot of buzzwords I feel like she's using to play victim.
As soon as I had realized that was not the case, I had cut things off with him. In retrospect, I wish I would have questioned things more. I wish I wasn't so naive, but, being naive is not an excuse for what I did in the role I played in this. Again, in no way was I trying to gain sympathy, and I fully realize I'm not the victim in this. I'm not the one who's really getting hurt here. It's Beati and her children, and for that, I'm so, so sorry.
Yeah, well, you didn't think about that when you were allegedly having an affair, right? So why do it now? It makes
Unless
no sense.
She is telling the truth and she was tricked.
Right,
but
then
thing
show
is,
us.
I don't know.
From even her own words, Kim, it's like, I assumed, and he it's a lot of words. I'm like, well, it doesn't sound like you're actually saying he did anything to tell you that. You just assume that because he wrote you, and you just wanted to think that. That's what it seems like to me. Anyway, so she, oh, sorry, just real quick, just to button up, and then I'm going to go to you. She has now replied, "Someone get this man a dictionary," is now how she is clapping back at Mr. Levine and his apology, which I assume is the we did not have an affair, is what I assume she's trying to get the dictionary on, because she's like, dude, where was it? The other one expired. There it is. Someone get this man a dictionary. She's like, dude, we had an affair, which is sort of like an attack back. Like, you really want to challenge me, dude? You want to, I don't know. What do you think this, why did she post this, Kim?
I'm guessing it's because normally an affair, the dictionary terminology is that there was, okay, I got to watch my words here because we want to stay monetized, but physical entanglement.
Oh,
right?
Wow.
Why don't we say that? Physical entanglement is usually the main thing. However, emotional affairs are devastating. A lot of things can also happen outside of physical entanglement that, by my definition, would be an affair, especially in the digital world. So my guess is what she's saying is, you're not going to call what happened between us an affair? Okay. That's my vibe on it. I don't know if that could be the wrong take, but that's how I interpreted it.
Yeah, I think that's a safe assumption. Steph is joining us now. Welcome, Steph. Yeah, look, again, it's not my damn business what he's doing.
Yeah.
It's between him and Bahati, and I just assumed he was flirting with people because he's Adam Levine and a rock star. And I assume she either just knew or doesn't care or whatever. But what bothers me in this situation is, if it's true, shame on Adam, of course. He says he's been flirting. I'm annoyed with him on his response because I don't feel like he's taking full accountability. He's trying to have it all both ways. And then I'm annoyed with her because she's like saying she doesn't want to expose and do this for clout and whatever, and didn't want this out there. But now she's poking and instigating, which to me is a huge sign that she did want this out there. She knew, and she was, I don't know, trying to do a shakedown on him to have an affair and then play it later like, oh, how dare you, girl, you did it. You did it too. So while he's in the doghouse, there's no reason we should be applauding you is what my issue is. But Steph is here. I want to get Steph's take on all this. Welcome. I think, did you just post a video yourself on all the updates?
So it's just like processing right now, so it'll be released in the next 5-10 minutes, guys. But yeah, it's on this very story because for me it's a question of, when I look at Adam Levine's response, does he actually admit to an affair or not? And for me, I think he does. It may not be the bumpy, grindy kind of an affair. Do you know what I mean? Kim put it more eloquently, but now I'm in the house. Hi, everyone. The eloquence has gone right out of the window.
I love you.
I love you too, lass. But he does still admit, in my opinion, because Bouzy theory, whatever, to a certain type of an affair. Let's put it this way. My next partner, whoever the lucky sod is, right? A damn right he's lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Things freaking texting another lass that ain't me being flirtatious and, in Adam's own words, inappropriate. We don't know him anymore. He's cut off. He's gone. Bye-bye. There's the door, Felicia. Shut it on the way out. Oh, and I'd also go over to the lass's house and rip her damn hair out. Of course, that's a joke, but you know what I mean. So, wink, wink. So, to me, he is still.
I get a baseball bat. Sorry.
I'd get a baseball bat. There you go. You see? You know. So, yeah, for me, he's an idiot. He's trying to have it both ways. Because we were talking about this earlier on in our boss level Telegram group, and I do get your point, Andy, in the sense of, even though she drops receipts, they are a little bit sus, because where are her responses? Where are her responses to it all? It's just all him, right? There's not really much response from her. And to say that allegedly this affair happened for like a year, there'd be more back and forth, right? And this whole thing about allegedly him messaging her being like, yeah, we've got a third baby on way. Do you mind me naming baby after you if it's a boy? If that is actually what happened, dude, who thinks like that to get the wife knocked up and thinks, you know what, it's the best idea in the whole wide world to name my unborn child after me mistress? Yeah, because that would go down well like a freaking lead balloon, wouldn't it? Oh, goodness. It's a mess. But, yeah, we'll see. That's my general gist of it all, but I will go into detail, so check my video out. Wink, wink. Love you
Check
all.
it out. Get her full thoughts. But yeah, look, overall, he clearly is caught. It seems he's admitting being caught. And someone was like, Andy, you're telling people to lie. Look, I'm telling people like, just to be aware of the family and don't do it in the first place. And then if you're going to go and do it, like, is publicly exposing and shaming really the best way to go about it? I don't think it is. I've lived through it, guys. And it's way more traumatic, not just to the Adam, but to the family, to have that public shame and everything else out there is where it goes crazy. And honestly, as someone who went through it, I just think everybody's out there for clout, trying to expose people and lie and what's the word? Entrap them in a way of just like a lot of, I think people are out there flirting and then you get a flirt back, and it's like, oh, this person's a flirting scumbag, blah, blah, blah. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of people on social media, and I feel like this woman's definitely doing that without owning it. And I'm sorry, it's like this, it's like, if you really had remorse, why do you need to like promote your Costa Rica shots at the same time? It just none of it rings true to me. And you had to do a whole second video to try to justify yourself, but you still, I feel like, are playing the victim in it. And the reality is, in my opinion, if you really were exposed and this came out and you're embarrassed, you should say it. Be like, I feel terrible, right? The things I'd want to hear from her are, I'm so sad this happened. I should have never done it in the first place. I made mistakes. I'm not trying to make up for it. But yes, this happened. A tabloid reached out to me, and I wanted to put it out there in my own words before someone else did. You know, but even that, it doesn't feel right, guys, because it's like, let the tabloid come out with it if you don't want it out there. You know what I mean? Let the tabloid come out and then address it, or don't, is what I meant by. So it's a complicated feeling on this. I feel like I think all agreed, they should both be in the doghouse for this one. That's what I think is the safe assumption of all this. But we will keep you posted if Adam or she brings more receipts and drops this out, because if she was misled, Kim, I think you're right. If she was misled and he was like, we're not married, it's all good, let's have an affair. And then he was using her in that way, and then really was trying to get his third child named after her, like behind his fiance, his wife's back. Well, then, yeah, Adam's even worse in this one, and then that's pretty awful. But I'm not buying it personally. But I want to pivot to some interesting, or I guess better news. Topic 2 before I clip us, guys. We are mentioned in the new what is this? Discovery Plus. There it is. Bam! What? The new Discovery Plus documentary series, which I cannot vouch for. I have not yet seen it, but there are 2 episodes. One is Johnny's story, and one is Amber's story. And I want to thank, it was Stephanie here who showed me, hold on, can I see this on this? She showed me that we are, in fact, hold on, I have to reframe this. We are in the documentary. Excuse me, guess who joined me? Here it is.
Are in its struggles in the living room, and at some point he just whacks me in the face.
Did this feel rehearsed or practiced?
Oh yeah, it must have been discussed, practiced, even scripted for her, to act it out.
I think
that's it. Me and Linda made it in the documentary. Our own analysis, body expert, behavior expert, Linda and myself made it into the Peacock, or I don't know which one. I'm so confused by all these
Discovery,
brands.
whatever.
Discovery Plus, Johnny versus Amber. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing necessarily, because like I said, I haven't actually seen it yet.
Yeah.
I started watching it, and I thought maybe we could attempt to maybe watch it at some point to see if there's time here, because I am curious. But there's one that's for Johnny, and then there's one that's for Amber, and we're in the we are mentioning the Johnny. I don't know if anybody else watched it and saw more, let us know. But we there we are seeing. I always appreciate when someone actually does clip us, and I'm glad we made it into the Johnny side to show our expert showing that she was rehearsing. We firmly believe it. It wasn't even something like they made something really egregious about us. No, I'm glad they pulled that clip. And there we go. So, bravo, Linda. Bravo, Popcorn Planet community. We are being taken as good news places and getting good publicity at people who are watching. So thank you for telling me that, Julia. And stay tuned. We may watch some of that later in this stream. I just want to clip the show, get to it before. But Steph, Kim, reactions, is that cool?
Super cool. Yeah. I did want to actually say very quickly, because Linda was such a huge help behind the scenes. Like, you guys have no idea how much Linda did. And so much love for her and so much credit to her. And I don't ever want her contributions to that whole thing to be forgotten, because oh goodness, just irreplaceable.
Indeed, fantastic job she did, and so many of our people in that behind the scenes, but she really stepped up with that note taking. So glad you got to see some of your work, because now you're in a actual piece of content that's about the whole thing. We're both in there as part of the story. I feel glad, but I hope it's not a bad documentary. I haven't yet to see it, so we'll see. Fingers crossed. Well, there you have it, and another amazing show. So grateful to Steph the Alter Nerd, It's Kim, Lewis Lecca, and all of you who helped us reach our goal. Oh my God, but we want to keep going. Our Vegas fund is still growing. We're already at 31 out of 25 goal. The more we get, the more hopefully we can help support, make sure our mods and some fans get to come out and join us at this mega Vegas bash. In fact, we do have a raffle. If you want to learn how to do it, you got to go to my link tree. It's all there. Pay attention to the show. We talked about it during the members only portion, how you can enter as well to the raffle. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for supporting. And make sure you go check out Steph the Alter Nerd, It's Kim, Nerd Report. We're going to report over to Nerd Report now, but so much more coming soon. And I appreciate you guys. In fact, if you haven't already, hit that join button. Pick a level, pick a tier, become a member. You always get the replays as well as some extra fun stuff that comes out. And you can always catch the replays if you missed it because the rest of the video got trimmed. Hours. You missed hours if you didn't watch it live. So go check it out next. Thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy your night. We'll see you tomorrow here on Popcorn Planet. Bye.
Laters.
Spam Lewis. Go spam Lewis.